Welcome to my documentary. My name's Ryan, also known as RJ Beats. I've been making music for 2 years now, and I want to take you on the journey of how I make my music and what stuff I've made in the past. Let's go! So I first started getting introduced to music when I first got my MacBook Pro, and I just started to look at GarageBand, the application. I saw a section on it called Loops, so I began to play about a bit, and I just started putting stuff together, seeing how it sounded, and it really fascinated me. And it was around that time that I started to make my first album, Chaos Theory. So with putting all the stuff together, just jumbling stuff around, I made my first song, Stealth Cloak, and it was fascinating to me because I'd never done stuff with music before, so it was really new to me, but eye-opening. It took about 2 weeks for me to make the whole album, and then I released it on YouTube. At the time, I just also created the YouTube channel with my name RJ Beats. I decided to use the name RJ Beats because I just thought it sounded the best. I did have other variations. There was RJL Beats, R.J.L Beats, but it all kind of still summarised to the RJ and the Beats. So I eventually just went with RJ Beats. I'd seen other YouTubers that had used the same username, but I didn't really mind because it was just a hobby, and it still is for me. However, even after I released my first album, I had barely just touched the surface because I had just been using one key for that whole first album. So realising this, I decided to switch up the keys, looked at what other options there were, and it turned out there were many more. So with this whole new array of loops, I started working on my next album, which was Beyond Infinity. Now, Beyond Infinity was different because I went for different themes. There are actually 2 parts to the album. There was Beyond Infinity Part 1, which consisted of a light covered album with happy, chirpier, higher key songs, and then we have Beyond Infinity Part 2, which was darker, much more moody, more bassy songs. It was around that time as well that my college friends found out about my my YouTube channel and my little hobby of making music. And it was actually good because they gave me some really good feedback. The main thing they said was that my songs were too much the same, they didn't really variate too much, but I took that feedback and I went forwards. So with the feedback that I got from my college friends, I started working on a new Profound project / album, and this one was called Glitched Out. Now, Glitched Out is one of a few special projects / albums that I've made. I had just started listening to the genre glitch at the time, which is a glitch, a music genre, which it's just a jumble of weird sounds, but it all comes together to make a song. So I just started listening to that at the time, and I wanted to bring that into my own music. I started working on it, and I made the main song, Glitched Out. So the songs themselves didn't really make sense, but I put a lot of effort into it with the songs themselves. I added creepy background effects, creepy sounds, gave it an eerie atmosphere, which I liked. I tried to add a storytelling effect into it as well, which I'd never done before. But I hadn't even numbered songs, so there wasn't really a direction of where you should start and where you should end. That album took me quite a while to make because of the added effort that I put into it, not just with the songs themselves, but also with the videos. I tried to edit glitch effects into the videos as well, which also helped with my video editing in general, which was handy. So it was kind of a win-win. So in between Glitched Out and District Zero, I released a few singles, but a main single is called Lost. Now, Lost you may recognise if you're a fellow fan or just know my music in general, because it is one of the songs that I've made another music video for. And the making of that was so fun. We got together. We didn't really have a plan in mind, but we just set out and we just started filming around various locations. It was a great time filming, and then I put it together afterwards, and it came out really well, much better than I thought it would. The song itself I made when I wasn't in the best of moods, but I just sat down and I just put something together, and that's what made the song itself.
So I wanted to ask you, did I portray the character in your music video as the director told me to?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when Melissa suggested that you helped us film the video, I was open to it, of course, and you've really captured the creepy girl, creepy girl vibe, like
Yeah.
that I also was thinking of, like as a character. The makeup's really good. It's great for the role. It really helped capture the psychedelic, scary vibe we were going for, and altogether, I think it's gonna look great. The next album I began working on after a while was called District Zero. Now, District Zero, I think I had a bit too much of a greater vision in mind, because it fell flat quite a bit. It's probably one of the least favourite albums that I've ever made, if I'm being honest. I don't know, I wasn't really into it. I tried to add more emphasis on the drums because I was trying to experiment more with the actual beats within my songs with District Zero, but I also had like this weird further vision that I was gonna like try and bring a story through multiple albums, and it just fell a bit flat. The songs themselves weren't that great either, so yeah. However, the next album that I made, Expectations at Midnight, was when stuff, I believe, with my music making started to turn around a bit. I wanted to bring in more storytelling, like with District Zero, but I actually had a better way of going about it this time. What I did was, with the start of the songs, I added a clip of background noise. So with one of the songs called Luminous, you can hear background noise of being in a city. So you got cars, sirens, people walking, people talking. So the typical noise of a city. And I played that for a bit, and then it introduces a song. And I did this because I wanted to make the listener give the song a scenario for the listener, and I think I succeeded with this. With Expectations at Midnight, I tried to go for different genres within each song. However, there was one song on that album that was completely different from all the rest, and it's called Dark Jungle. Now, Dark Jungle is my favourite song out of any other song that I've made completely, for two reasons. One of them is because it's one of the most popular and I really enjoyed making it, and the other is because somebody asked if they could use my song. Now, I won't enclose their name just in case, but I will read out the message that they sent to me. Hey, sorry for the random message. I'm a dance student at the University of East London. Myself and fellow students are creating a video for our module based on the structure of cities and how people move systematically throughout London. We are doing this by contrasting it with the movements and attitudes found within the jungle. When researching songs to use, I came across your Dark Jungle track on YouTube, and we all feel like it is perfect for the concept of our video. I was wondering if it is okay for us to use this track for our video. I cannot offer you a payment as we're all living the broke student life, but we can give you high credit for our video as we share it throughout social media and post it on our YouTube channel ourselves. I can help advertise your music as well, as it's all sick. If not, no worries at all, just let me know. Thank you. Now, when I got this message, it was a massive surprise to me because I didn't for the life of me think that somebody would be asking to use my song that I made, just a person who sits in his room and makes music. So it was a massive surprise to me, but it was really fulfilling because it gave me a lot of inspiration to continue making music. So I just put, yes, you can use it, don't worry, I only do it as a little hobby, so it's fine, go ahead. And they came back with, thank you so much, it's such a sick track. But that whole scenario, it was great. And I cannot believe that someone wanted to use my music. I did try looking for the video they spoke of on their YouTube channel about 2 months afterwards, but I couldn't find it. So next up is Bittersweet, and Bittersweet is another special project of mine, and I'll tell you why now. So, Bittersweet, it's another special project of mine. It was called Bittersweet, a mini album, and many people did say to me, why don't you just call it an EP? So I did eventually. I believe at the time GarageBand had just got an update, so I was messing around with it again, and I found these new loops. I also tried getting GarageBand on my phone as well, so with some of the songs I added like special effects that you can only get on GarageBand on your phone instead of on the laptop. But overall I really enjoyed making that short EP. One of the main songs on it, I believe, is Tremor, which is very good. But yeah, I really enjoyed making that in the end. But what came next was even better.
Okay, so what I brought today is this light to flash for different scenes because we're filming in the dark. This is the actress we've hired today, Gintama. I also participated in acting, so did the cameraman behind this camera. So, next scene is when Ryan dies.
3am was the next album that I made after Bittersweet. I had actually just started moving away from GarageBand, and I started to use a application called BandLab. Now, BandLab is a free app slash website that you can use, and it basically is the same as GarageBand, but you have a community on it as well. So I started to go over to there and use BandLab. I liked BandLab a lot because it had the loops organised into genres, and that really helped. At the time I just got into lo-fi a lot as well, so 3am is a lo-fi album that I made. I made, I believe, quite a few songs for that. I really enjoyed making it, and it's one of my more recognised albums that I've made because of the way BandLab, I believe, processes the music afterwards. It sounds a lot more smoother. However, even after I'd finished the album, I wasn't really pleased with it, and I wanted to add something else. So what I went and did was I got anime clips of like sounds, like speaking, so people just speaking Japanese in anime, little snippets of that, and I started adding it like in my songs before like a beat drop at the start or at the end, and I believe that added a unique touch to it, and I really enjoyed doing that. I took a break from making music after that because I went to France, but even in France I had an urge to make music, and it was then that I made Lost in Thought. Now, Lost in Thought is one of the most personal albums that I've made because I went back to GarageBand because it was the only thing that I could use while I was out in France, and I just put songs together. A few of the songs on the mean quite a bit to me, and the album itself is one of the most recognised albums that I've made as a whole, with like view wise. Trading Places. I've heard a few people say that song in particular is a song style that they've never really heard before, which meant a lot to me. But it just... the album artwork was a picture of me that was taken about a month beforehand, and I was out with friends, and one of my friends just took a picture of me while I was just zoned out, thinking of something else, not looking in the greatest of moods. But I used that because it went with the title Lost in Thought. However, I still didn't really want to show my face, unlike with Expectations at Midnight, in which I just started to like show my face, but I still wasn't comfortable to show my whole face. So with the Lost in Thought artwork, I got a picture of a neon wire mask, and if you don't know what they are, I'll show them now. So what I did is I got a picture of one of them, cropped out the background, and then like placed it over my face to give it this like mysterious look. However, I did have a few people say that it gave a bit of a hostile feel, and it also linked to one of the interlude songs that I made for it. I wanted to make an interlude song because I wanted it to follow on with the story. The whole album itself kind of had like a dreamy vibe, so for the interlude I wanted to like get like a shock factor. So I will warn now that what I am about to say does contain some explicit details. So for the interlude, I wanted to go for a bit of a shock factor and something that would surprise the listener. So the whole interlude follows this scenario. There's no music, there's just like background noise, so it gives the listener the feeling like they're at like a party. There's like background noise in the distance, people chattering, and then you hear a car pull up, and then you hear gunshots, and then you hear people screaming and running away. I also enhanced this by adding gunshots coming up as they were being shot in the audio itself, and I added blood. There's also a snippet of someone saying like no 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 no, and then a final gunshot, and then it ends. I did this because as I said, it was like a shock factor. However, I realised shortly after making it that there had also just been a shooting in America, and I didn't want to offend anyone. My music and myself as a person, I don't aim to offend people, so I held back on releasing the whole album for a while. When I released it, I had quite a few friends to me ask why there was that part in the middle, and it was just unnecessary, and I tried to explain, but it didn't really sit right with me afterwards. So about 2 days afterwards I removed the interlude, and I felt much better with myself. So for my latest album that is out on my YouTube channel, which is called Found, but you wouldn't actually know that because it's in Japanese. I didn't make this on GarageBand or BandLab. I made this on an entirely new website called Looperman. Now, Looperman is what I use to this day to make my music. It's a website dedicated to people who just want to submit loops, so 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you get all kinds of different like genres, types, anything you can like imagine musically wise, and it's just people who want to just submit it for people to use. Some people ask it to be used commercially, some people ask it to be used non-commercially, but I just found that, and it was really new to me because some of the loops sounded really good. So that inspired me to make Found. The whole process behind that was I wanted to try and touch upon like a hip hop vibe, which I'd never done before, like a Drake, Travis Scott, stuff like that, which I was listening to at the time. I wanted to bring that into my music. I personally really like Found because it's got quite a nitty gritty, heavy beat vibe to it, which I really like. One of the songs, Tsunami, is something which surprisingly I just put together like on the fly, and it sounded really good. So I really like that.
Would you ever act in one of Ryan's music videos ever again?
If it depends, I don't do activities like running around.
Okay. Can you come a bit closer? What was your favourite part of acting in horror videos for Melissa?
I like being creepy.
Okay. What do you think of Ryan's song?
Well, I had like 5 seconds of it, but I think it's actually really good and creepy.
Would you watch Ryan's video to help yourself make music?
This music video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
But I don't make music.
Thank you!
And so now we come to the up and coming album, Trapped in a Loop. I cannot wait to release this new album. It's something I've took the longest time to work on. It is a genre that I've never touched upon before. It all sounds amazing. I still need to fine tune a few songs, this and that, and then there's obviously the music video, which will be coming for the song Trapped in a Loop, which is the main song for the whole album. The inspiration for this upcoming album was, at the time, around like making this, I couldn't like make music. I tried making multiple types of songs, but just ditched it. There was just something about it that just didn't sound the same. And it was only until I found this kind of like music that it just clicked, and I just made this whole album. But I'm really proud of it, and I can't wait for you to see A, the album, and B, the music video. The music video is still in production. When Melissa, my classmate, came up to me and asked if she could make the music video for my main song on my main album, I had seen her previous experience of making music videos from her last one, and I could tell that she could really capture that scary vibe within her music videos. And I said yeah, because I thought she could do it, and she really has pulled it off. The scary, like, psychedelic vibe that I'm trying to go for. And I can't wait for you to see it.